Okay, a very good morning to everyone. So let us continue with the article. So because of some technical glitch, we were not able to complete the articles yesterday. So we will going to continue those articles. Already we were studying about the suicide rate and how the suicide rate is increasing in the country. Let us go through this data once again, fatafat. So, what does this data says that? So, according to latest NCRB data, 13,892 students have committed suicide in this particularly year, and 65% of the increase in the death cases or the suicide cases have been seen, and all over it is actually very higher in the country, and it is continuously increasing in the country. That is one of the major concern. And from between 2013 and 2023, on an average 1,17,849 students they have lost their lives in the suicide and accidental deaths. Yani, and the gender may also, when we see the gender scenario, so on an average 7,000 plus male have committed suicide, yani boys have committed suicide. Out of these students, 30,892 students, 7,330 were male and 6,559 were female and 3 were transgender. Then Maharashtra is one of the suicide capital for students also and farmer perspective. MP say 10.5%, UP 9.9, Tamil Nadu 9.6, and many of the kids who are committing suicide is somewhere of the age group 15 to 24. So one of the prominent reason for such kind of suicide or things is your exam pressure, yani academic pressure and exam pressure. That's why Pradhan Mantri came up with a Pariksha Pe Charcha kind of initiative. Under this initiative, he's talking with students how to basically they can curb the stress of your examination, how they can curb the pressure and they can achieve the target and good marks. So this is basically one of this issue. Then failure in exam or scare or they are scared कि अगर fail हो गए तो, so what would be the possible reasons? इस चक्कर में भी lot of students they commit suicide. Lack of counseling, lack of mental health support, social familial pressure, expectation. Sometimes family expect a lot from us. हमारा बेटा हमारी बेटी ये तो बहुत अच्छे हैं तो हमेशा अच्छा ही करेंगे. So such particularly unexpected or यानी कि expectation, a very good morning बेटा, expectation is not a negative, yani, but they are expecting, they have hopes from us and we actually consider it as कि हाँ हम ही करेंगे तो करेंगे, अगर हम नहीं कर पाए तो हमारे माँ बाप की नाक कट जाएगी, their life will not going to क्या बोलते हैं change and मतलब they will be again the same, मैं कुछ नहीं कर पाया. These kind of feelings are very common because and the parents and family they are not intentionally putting pressure on you. That is the hope which they have with their kids from the childhood when they are seeing कि हाँ हमेशा से अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहा है या कर रही है तो they might achieve good in the family or in the future. So this is also the pressure which is also one of the reason why कि family कब क्या रहेगा, family पे नाम burden, this is also one of the reason. Then sometime institutional factors, यानी कि some kind of a ragging and still practices in IITs and big colleges and education system, still it can be seen, yani ki bullying still exists in the country, and this is also one of the reason why majority of the students they commit suicide. So this is also one of the particularly reasons which we have already discussed yesterday. We just gone through the particularly example, just had a normal discussion on this. Now, the next article is very important, the currency deprivation. Recently, the dollar value has increased, yani Indian rupee value has been decreased, yani कि अब as compared to dollar, the value of rupee is more. जो कुछ वक्त तक it was 80-85 around, now it is approx 90. So, currency deprivation becomes very important. So, there are a lot of factors which is affecting rupee, and it's not only having a positive negative effect, it is also having a positive effect. So let us see in detail what is this currency deprivation, how it is different from devaluation, what are the particularly reasons for this deprivation which we can see, and what are the effects both positive and negative. Why? Because inflation ka there is not always a negative impact, there is a positive impact as well. And in last few years you will see UPSC is asking you question on the effect and causes basis also कि ये inflation है and these are the particularly effects and उसमें positive negative both effects are mentioned. So हमें लगता है कि inflation महंगाई के there is always a side effect, so it's not always a negative side effects, we have also some positive effects. So same we will see what is this deprivation is, how it occurs, what are the impacts and causes and how it is having both positive and a negative impact on Indian economy. So let us see what is the news is. So Indian rupee recently slipped past the 90 per dollar US dollar mark, making it one of the Asia's worst performing currencies in 2025. So what is currency deprivation? जब your currency value decreases, when your currency value in the market decreases because of the economic reasons or because of the market में जिस तरीके से your currency is flowing, this is what in short is known as basically currency deprivation. The another term is currency devaluation. Currency devaluation में there is a government is also which is responsible, because sometimes deprivation में क्या बोलते हैं, in sometimes government is also responsible for this, कि उन्होंने government ने because of the market value उस हिसाब से देख के currency की value इस तरीके से devalue करी ताकि वो बाकी factors implement कर सके, impactful हो सके. But here when I'm talking about currency का आपका deprivation, there is no such involvement of government is needed. Automatically, because of the various market factors and various market forces which are present in the economy, उसकी वजह से this currency deprivation is taking place. So what is actually currency depreciation is? Let us see. So currency depreciation means a fall in the value of country's currency relative to the another currency under a market determined or floating exchange rate. जैसे कि for example, $1 was 85 rupees earlier, but now it is your 90 rupees. So the particularly price of $1 has been increased. यानी कि अगर मुझे $1 लेना है तो मुझे उसके लिए Indian currency का 90 rupees I have to pay. So this is currently the value of your dollar, and the rupee has depreciated because now more rupees are required to buy the same $1 which I have already recently told you. So this is what actually your currency depreciation is. जब आपके देश की currency की value दूसरे देश की करेंसी के वैल्यू के हिसाब से डिक्रीज होती है, मतलब यानी कि एक वही करेंसी खरीदने के लिए आपको अपनी करेंसी का ज्यादा पे करना पड़ेगा पैसा, बिकॉज ऑफ द डिफरेंट मार्केट फोर्सेस. व्हाट आर द मार्केट फोर्सेस, वी विल डिस्कस दैट आल्सो. इस वजह से इस पर्टिकुलरली प्रोसेस को वी कॉल्ड एज अ करेंसी depreciation. And depreciation happens automatically. There is no government is involved in this depreciation process. They can ask you directly or indirectly in a statement based question in UPSC prelim. So please make sure कि आप इस तरीके से confuse ना हो. That's why let us see in a very small कि what is the difference between depreciation and devaluation. So depreciation in short, obviously we have discussed when the currency value falls due to the market forces. But who decide this? This is the but here in devaluation, currency value is intentionally reduced. यानी कि when we want to actually and fix any kind of exchange rate या इस तरीके से जब कुछ हमें मार्केट इकोनॉमी को बैलेंस आउट करना पड़ता है, then devaluation is intentionally it is done, यानी currency value is intentionally reduced. But जब depreciation होता है, that is totally depend on the situation of the market. There is no any kind of a hand of a government behind that. Now who decides deprivation? So market demand and supply decides depreciation. Who demands or who is basically responsible, who decides your devaluation? So your central bank, government and fixed exchange system, yani government in a fixed exchange rate system is actually responsible. Yani RBI and government will decide ki what will be and how will be the currency will be devaluated. But currency depreciation is totally depend on the market scenario into import, export, all the other factors of the market related demand supply things are responsible for depreciation of currency. But for devaluation, central banking system yani ki for India RBI and government is responsible if currency devaluation is going on. So you need to just clearly understand the difference between depreciation and devaluation. So currency depreciation has been done. The value of $1 is your 90 rupees now. What is depreciation, devaluation? We have discussed currency value fall due to market forces, currency value intentionally reduced in your devaluation. Now, Why does currency depreciate? So currency depreciate तब होता है जब आपके there are 4 to 5 factors which are dependent on it. सबसे पहले one of the reason for this depreciation we can like you are continuously following, if you are following the series of current affair, one of the prominent reason you can understand कि जो टेरिफ इम्पोज किए हैं यूएसए में, जब यूएसए का टेरिफ इम्पोज हुआ इंडिया दैट इज अप्रॉक्स 50%, उसकी वजह से इंपोर्ट तो रहा लेकिन एक्सपोर्ट बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं हो पाया एंड इंडियन का जो प्रोडक्ट है उसकी मार्केट वैल्यू धीरे धीरे क्या होती गई, कम हो गई. जब इंपोर्ट इज मोर एंड एक्सपोर्ट इज लेस इन एन कंट्री, दैट इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द रीजन फॉर currency depreciation. So one of the prominent factor which is responsible for this is the particularly tariff which has been imposed by your Donald Trump. So higher demand for foreign currency, obviously जब ज़्यादातर companies, government, they need more money, they need more US and Euro dollars, so उस time पे they stop investing in country, like for example many of the companies they have stopped investing in India because अब उतनी value रही नहीं and they start investing in the countries like European countries or where dollar is very prominent. ये one of the major factor है जिसके वजह से tourism also decreases. So this is the first factor where you will see कि आपका currency depreciation शुरू हो जाता है. So higher demand for foreign currency. So when people, companies or government need more US dollars and your euro for import, foreign education and tourism, the demand for dollar rises and rupee weakens. So obviously ज़्यादातर one of the recognized currency worldwide is your dollars. अगर tourism के लिए मैं जा रही हूँ let's say साउथ ईस्ट एशियन कंट्री, सो आई वांट कि मैं ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा डॉलर खरीदूँ सो दैट कि जब मैं साउथ ईस्ट एशियन कंट्री में जहाँ डॉलर इज़ वर्किंग तो मैं वहाँ डॉलर दे के चीज़ों को परचेज करूँ क्योंकि वहाँ की करेंसी की वैल्यू डॉलर के कंपैरिजन में तो उतनी है ज़्यादा है नहीं, तो मुझे बेनिफिट ही रहेगा. सो दैट्स वाई दीज आर वन ऑफ द पर्टिकुलरली मेजर फैक्टर व्हेन द पर्टिकुलरली फॉरेन करेंसी की डिमांड बढ़ जाती है एज कम्पेयर टू योर करेंसी. दिस इज वन ऑफ द पर्टिकुलरली रीजन, नंबर फर्स्ट रीजन, एंड ऑल द रीजन्स आर रिवॉल्विंग अराउंड दिस ओनली. But higher demand for foreign currency is the first and the prominent reason where currency will decrease. Then rise in imports, fall in exports. We have discussed because of the tariffs which has been imposed by Trump, उसकी वजह से जो हमारा particularly import है they are still like बहुत ज़्यादा affected नहीं हुए हैं, but the particularly things which we are exporting it has been hampered at a very large scale, and this is the reason why this particularly scenario has been came into the country, that is your currency depreciation. So second prominent reason which you will see is the rise in imports and fall in export. So India is a large importer of crude oil, gold and electronic, and when import bill rises, more USD is needed to basically, and which automatically leads to the depreciation of the rupee. यानी कि जब import bill बढ़ेगा, डॉलर की वैल्यू ज़्यादा होगी और रुपी की वैल्यू धीरे धीरे क्या होती जाएगी, कम होती जाएगी. And when such situation occur, and when such situations are occurring, then आपके जो foreign investors होते हैं they stop investing in the company, वो सारी चीज़ें country they stop everything and they start investing in the different country. So if foreign investors and forests for particularly FDIs they stop, they sell Indian assets, pull money out and invest into US and other market जहाँ डॉलर की वैल्यू ज़्यादा है. This is also one of the reason where your rupee weakens. So they convert rupee into dollar and they are using in the different countries. This is also one of the reason when capital outflows stop. So if foreign investors like your FI, FDIs, they have sell their assets, they have pull out the money and they have start investing in the different companies, so already rupee ka value will start going to decrease or depreciate here. Now higher US interest rate, obviously हमने पिछले कुछ time पे देखा है US has raised its interest rate, lot of investors because of which they are moving their money into better countries जहाँ पे risk becomes less, जहाँ पे risk कम हो जाएगा किसी भी तरीके से loss का जो है, that is kind of a they are started investing money उन particularly countries में जहाँ पे ये पूरा फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम इज नॉट दैट फ्लक्चुएटिंग, इज नॉट दैट रिस्की एंड ईजिली आपका वैल्यू जो है फुलफिल, मतलब ईजिली देयर, इन शॉर्ट देयर मनी इज सेफ इन दैट मार्केट. बट करेंटली बिकॉज ऑफ द हायर इंटरेस्ट रेट ऑन द इंडियन गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज, यहाँ पर जो इम्पोर्ट एक्सपोर्ट की जो इंटरनल इकोनॉमिक लड़ाई चल रही है उसकी वजह से इंटरेस्ट रेट्स आर वेरी हाई, बिकॉज ऑफ विच यू विल सी मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द कंपनीज आर मूविंग टू द सेफर इकोनॉमी, जहाँ पे पैसा का रिस्क इज लेस and safety is more. So this is also one of the particularly reason where your currency will start depreciating. So what is this? Higher US interest rate, Federal Reserve effects. When US Federation, your federal banks raise interest rate, investor move money to US for the safe return, safe and better return, जिसकी वजह से US dollar का demand will going to increase and rupees का particularly value will going to decrease. Obviously everyone want to basically invest their money in a safe market. मैं क्यों बोलूँगी कि कोई country is actually fluctuating in a fluctuating economic zone, so why should I invest in that country? So because currently, because of the tensions between your India and USA, Indian market is not safe for a lot of the countries, so that's why they are taking out of their money from India and they are investing in USA for the safer market. So this is also one of the prominent reason. And last, obviously, this is one of the reason why all this has been started, because of the geopolitical tension. So obviously we are going through a geopolitical tension with your USA economic perspective से, जिसकी वजह से war, recession, fear, instability. So investor what they choose कि भाई अब जब ये country war like ही country है, so why should we stay here? Let us go outside. यही हुआ रशिया के साथ. This what happened with Ukraine. This what happened with Pakistan. This what happened with Afghanistan. Because lot of the people, they don't find comfortable to invest in such countries. So obviously when you create your country safe, जहाँ पे टेररिस्ट अटैक्स और इस तरीके के मार्केट फ्लक्चुएशंस के रिस्क इज वेरी लेस, ओनली देन द इन्वेस्टर्स विल लव टू इन्वेस्ट इन योर कंट्री. एंड दैट्स व्हाई लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर नॉट इन्वेस्टिंग इन कंट्रीज विच आर नॉट सेफ फॉर द मार्केट प्लेस. जैसे कि recent में Myanmar is also one of the country where investors are pulling out from their economy. Why? Because war-like situation is going on. Lot of Southeast Asian countries, they have also started war. अभी recent में Thailand have dropped a bomb in पता नहीं like recently, I'm not getting exact मल्ली किसी पे तो they have dropped the bomb recent में Southeast Asian country में ही, exactly I'm not getting the news. So अब वहाँ पे because of the war and recession like situation, why any company will going to invest in that? उसकी वजह से value क्या होता है, कम होता है किसी भी इमीडिएट करेंसी का, किसी भी नेशनल करेंसी का. हाई इन्फ्लेशन इन डोमेस्टिक इकोनॉमी, दिस इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द रीजन. व्हेन इन्फ्लेशन इज हाई, सो आपके डोमेस्टिक इकोनॉमी पे ज़्यादा पर्टिकुलरली इन्वेस्ट करना पड़ता है, जिसकी वजह से रुपी डिप्रिसिएशन धीरे धीरे स्लोली एंड स्टेडली लॉन्ग प्रोसेस होता है. सो इफ इंडियन हैज़ अ हायर इन्फ्लेशन इन ट्रेडिंग पार्टनर, इंडियन गुड्स बिकम एक्सपेंसिव, एक्सपोर्ट्स फॉल, इम्पोर्ट राइजेस एंड रुपी डिप्रिसिएशन विल गोइंग टू स्टार्ट एंड योर करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट. Obviously this also occurs when your imports are more than your exports. Then the situation which arises is your current account deficit. Okay, when your imports are more than exports, whatever the line I am saying in Hindi na, I am explaining again in English also. It's just like कि बीच में my Hindi comes out, but yes, majority of the things are, the main key points are explained in English only, but still I am explaining in English, ठीक है? So the current account deficit is when your imports are higher than in export, then the situation which arise is your current account deposit, and this is also one of the reason when your currency, indigenous currency or the rupee will start following, so will start degrading. So this is basically the another reason for this, that is current account deficit. So these are the prominent features or effects which you will see responsible for your why a currency depreciate, yeah, why currency depreciate. So one of the reason when demands for foreign currency is high, so lot of people they want to invest in the companies which are safe, so country which is safe. So when people, companies and government need more US and euro dollar for import, foreign education and tourism, so demand of dollar rise, because dollar is one of the internationally accepted currency. So lot of people they trade and they basically do businesses and services in dollar, so इस वजह से dollar का value rises and other currencies value will going to depreciate. Imports are more, and then obviously the exports will going to fall. This is also one of the reasons for the rupee depreciation. The third is your capital outflow. When your country is not stable, investors will going to pull out money from your country. Obviously your currency value will going to decrease. Highest obviously interest rate by your US companies and US bank on the other goods and services. This will also going to increase the value of basically a US dollar as compared to the rupee. Then geopolitical tension, which is one of the reason which we have discussed, because between India and USA the political tension which is going on between India and USA, which we are trying to work on, is one of the reasons for this kind of situation which has occurred in the country. Then high inflation and the domestic inflation is one of the reason. This is slow and steadily things actually change, currency depreciate, but inflation is also one of the main reason. When inflation increases, domestic market का जो purchasing है क्या बोलते हैं, Indian goods become expensive, and because of which people are export falls, and because of which this situation arises. And capital account deficit, when imports are more than exports, then the situation which arises is your current account deficit, and it is also one of the reason for your this situation which has arose in the country, that is the depreciation of the Indian currency. Now, what are the effects of this depreciation? So, we will going to see the negative effects and positive effects as well. So, if UPSC asks you कि falana currency depreciation has occurred in the country, these are the following situation. So, you have to, if 4 to 5 positive and negative aspects are written there, so you will say कि currency depreciation का there is always a negative effect. So, answer is no. There are positive effects also. So, let us see what are the negative and positive effects of this currency depreciation. So obviously one of the first and the prominent thing which will going to be affected is the particularly market system. The prices of money, the prices of goods and services, fuel and whatever the gases and petroleum which we are using, it will going to increase, and definitely it will going to lead to a situation that is inflation. So inflation is one of the first negative effect which you will see on the economy, that is higher fuel prices which lead to inflation, and crude oil becomes costlier, petrol, diesel, LPG, everything will going to rise, and obviously it will going to lead to the rise of transport cost. Then second thing, if I want to go to for any XYZ country for my education, for my further higher education, and that we are going to deal in dollar only, so the particularly price will going to double for that. So क्योंकि dollar the price of the dollar is high as compared to my currency, so I have to pay more if I want to study abroad. So this is the particularly second negative impact which you will see. So that tourism and foreign education will going to become costlier because they need to pay more rupees to buy more and more dollars. Third is, we have already saw that lot of foreign investors, which are investing in our country, they will pull out their money from the country and they will going to invest in any safe economy like your USA and the other country. So the third negative impact is that investor may fear instability, more outflow, further it will further also going to lead your more currency depreciation in the country. So obviously it will going to lead inflation. It will going to make education and tourism, particularly foreign tourism, very expensive. And third thing is obviously foreign tourists will going to, your foreign investors will going to take money out of the country. They will going to invest in the safer economies, and we will going to be, we will get it, क्या बोलते हैं, trapped in the loop of this currency depreciation. So these are the major and negative impacts which you will see of this particularly currency depreciation. Now what are the positive impacts? अब डॉलर्स में, so let's say डॉलर का वैल्यू हैज बीन इंक्रीज एंड वी आर नॉट एक्चुअली trading in this particularly currency, but now the opportunity has increased. What opportunity has increased? Ki now we can invest in the other economies, we can invest in the other sectors, we can focus and trade with the other countries. That's why we are also working on internationalization of rupee. कि हम अपनी अभी we have started this initiative with immediate neighbors and your Southeast Asian country and your Middle East countries, where we are trading in our rupee, so that our rupee value will also going to improve. So this kind of opportunity will be created. If dollar ka price is like literally very high, then obviously we get an opportunity to trade with other countries in Indian rupees. So our internationalization of Indian rupee target or internationalization of Indian rupee initiative will going to boom. So this is what actually one of the positive impact which you will see. So first of all, it will going to boost the export. So Obviously Indian goods will become cheap globally, जिसकी वजह से IT sectors, pharma sectors, textile, agriculture, gems and jewelry, everything will become less, मतलब everything will become cheap. So USA might not purchase, USA related countries might not purchase, but other economies who are actually trading with India and who are finding it one of the comfortable source, यानी कि they are finding this cheaper goods as one of the particularly in their budget, then obviously we get an opportunity to trade with different countries and we can avoid basically dollar and we can fulfill our aim for internationalization of rupee. So it can also increase the export competitiveness. दूसरा, remittances. So we also know that we are one of the largest, particularly we are one of the country, we are getting largest remittance in the world. So obviously the value of remittance will also going to increase, because a lot of people which from where we are getting remittance is your Middle East and your American countries. So that's why the remittance will going to increase and the amount of remittance will also going to increase when the dollar ka paisa, dollar value is increasing. So remittances will increase because more rupee per dollar you will get NRI sending money, get more rupees for each dollar set. So this is that, these are what are the positive impact or effect of this in particularly depreciation. So fatafat let us revise this once again because this is an important article. So recently Indian rupee has slipped. It has the value of $1 has become 90 rupees. What is currency depreciation? This terminology is known as currency depreciation in economic terms. What is currency depreciation? When a value of a country currency fall because of the market demand and supply reasons. This is what actually known as currency depreciation in short. For example, it was earlier 80 to 85. Now the value of $1 is your 90 rupees. Then rupee depreciation because now more rupees are required to buy $1. ये हो गया. Depreciation automatically होता है, it is based on the market base. Second, what is the difference between depreciation and devaluation? So depreciation, currency values fall due to the market reasons. Market is responsible for that. Market will going to decide the currency depreciation. Devaluation, currency devalued intentionally by the Sarkar and the RBI. That's matlab the central government, the central bank. So central bank and government to fix the exchange rate system, they are intentionally when they devalue the basically currency, that is actually known as currency devaluation. But in the current situation we are going through currency depreciation. So why does this happen? Because higher demand for foreign currency, rise in imports and fall of exports when takes place, capital outflow when majority of the investors, they actually foreign investors and foreign direct investors, they pull out money from their country and they start investing in the safer economy. This is also one of the reasons for this. Then higher interest rate by the USA and your geopolitical tension and high inflation in which leads to the higher inflation in the domestic market and which creates a situation of current account deficit, yani when imports are more than exports, this lead to a situation that is known as current account deficit. Now what are the effects? So negative effects may inflation, higher prices of all everything which we are exporting with in dollar, which we are importing in dollar, costlier foreign education and travel, and obviously foreign investors will going to get out of the country and we will going to trap in the same currency depreciation loop. What are the positive impacts? We will get an opportunity to increase our aim and initiative of internationalization of rupee, plus our exports will also going to boost because our products will become cheaper worldwide, जिसकी वजह से more and more country will love to purchase our products and we will also going to become a good competitive market for the economy. Next, remittances will going to improve, यानी कि पैसा whatever we are getting from the NRIs outside India, the value of that money will be more because $1 के लिए we are sending more rupees. So that just imagine कि earlier if someone is sending $1, so we were getting 80 rupees. Ab now it's 90. So if someone is sending $1, so we are getting 90 rupees, and no one will going to send $1. We also know that a lot of money is spent on the country. So that's why as a remittance is coming in our country because we are one of the largest. We are the largest receiver of remittances of the world. So that's why whatever the remittance we are getting from the NRIs, the cost of that remittance is high. So this is the positive side of this currency depreciation. Now The next article, we also know that gold hai, silver hai, and all of the products, they have a specific hallmark, a specific number which shows that yes, this is a particularly original, this is exactly what they are saying, and this is genuine kind of a product, or product is this. Now same kind of particularly number and hallmark system have a sticker which a digital number has been actually implemented for silver as well. So what is this? So update on mandatory HUID for silver jewelry. So what is the news? Bureau of Indian Standards, that is BIS, has announced the introduction of mandatory hallmarking unique identification, that is HUID, mandatory hallmarking unique identification, hallmarking unique identification, that is HUID for silver jewelry and artifacts, which already have been implemented from 1st of September 2025 to protect your silver from these kind of a fake and fake exports, and also to promote the use of silver and make it as a consumer protection and trusted brand. So marking a major step towards strengthening the consumer protection, purity assurance, and preventing fake hallmarking. So this is a particular initiative which has been taken by government to give a proper HUID to whom? That is the silver jewelry, because silver jewelry is also consumed at a very large scale in our country. So we need a proper hallmark system so that individual, if they are buying the silver jewelry, they can identify that this is genuine or this is fake, and a proper protection and purity they can get. So this is what actually have been implemented on, like, which have came into effect from your 1st of September 2025, but now we are also working it more effectively so that lot number of people can actually fully get benefit from this HUID identification of the silver jewelry. Now what is HUID? Obviously it's a hallmark system, it's a unique identification number has been given, and it's a 6-digit alphanumeric code. Alphanumeric matlab A, B, 1, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. Let's say this is the code. So it's an alphanumeric 6-digit code which is given to a silver jewelry, and from this hallmark alpha particularly number and alphanumeric number, individual can identify that this silver is genuine or not. So it's alphanumeric 6-digit laser marked on each marked silver article in addition to BIS standard mark, and the word silver and the purity grade. So these are the things which will be mentioned. Number 1, the 6-digit alphanumeric particularly identification code. Second, BIS ka standard mark will be there, and third, silver will be written, and the silver and the purity grade. These are the particularly 3 to 4 things which will be mentioned on silver. Only then you will be like, just go whenever you are buying any silver na, just go through these 4 things or 3 to 4 things. If it is mentioned there, then definitely it's a pure particularly silver which you are about to purchase. So this is basically the HUID number, 6-digit alphanumeric number. So if in UPSC they are asking you a recently 7-digit alphanumeric number has been imposed for the silver jewelry, nahi, it's a 6-digit alphanumeric code laser marked on each marked silver article in addition with BIS standard mark, and obviously with silver written in it with a purity grade. So it's a kind of a particularly pure sign to denote, to find out ki which silver is genuine and which silver is not, and it's a complete initiative of your digital traceability, yani ki it's a digital stuff if you want to buy any kind of a silver brand. So the unique identification provide complete digital traceability of every hallmarked silver item, bringing silver hallmarking with the existing obviously system. Now we have also basically the same system for gold as well, because gold is also purchased at a very higher scale in the country. Matlab our Indian women are gold paglu, okay? And gold is also one of the source of organized crime in the country. I have discussed this many a time, but yes, to make the system consumer friendly, we are coming with such kind of a digital initiatives and data. And recently Rajasthan has become the first state of the country which have fully digitalized, completed its fully digitalized SIR. ठीक है, we have studied about the SIR. It is kind of a revision of the electoral roll. Who is the authority? That is the Election Commission is the authority. Is SIR is mentioned somewhere? So yes, it is mentioned in Representation of People Act 1950. We have already discussed that. Now Rajasthan has become the first state in the country which have completed its fully digitalized SIR. Yani ki we are turning digitalized, and obviously it will also going to basically achieve the target of India's first digital census. That will be actually result will be coming in your 2027. So it's supposed to be held in 2021 because of the COVID-19 and different issues. Census was not possible, but in India first time we are conducting your digital census, which will be in platform in 2027, and we have already discussed about this digital census also. So that's why we are shifting more and more toward digital, and this digital revolution in the country has been taken after 2016 when Digital India platform has been taken place. Digital India mission has been started with the 9 major pillars, and I have already discussed about 9 major pillars. It's your homework that you have to go through. What are the 9 pillars of Digital India mission? Now, or plus, to make this system more people friendly so that people can get more information about this, we have a government or the association BIS has came up with a BIS Care mobile app. So if anyone want to get any information related to this, they can actually go to this app it is present in both Android and iOS version, yani both iPhone and normal Android version. If anyone consumer want to verify any of the authenticity of the hallmark of the silver jewelry, so they can they can enter HUID on your BIS Care mobile app, और वहाँ से you have to just need to scan that particularly HUID mark on your silver jewelry, and BIS जो mobile care app है, it will going to tell you the silver jewelry is pure or not. So this is what the quality, or this is what actually the impactfulness of this. Now one more thing. Abhi to I can understand the language, English, Hindi or some of the languages I can understand. But the point here is that, let's say I belong to the extreme village of Maharashtra and I'm a total Marathi person. Like I can't understand neither Hindi nor English, nothing, like not even a little bit of that. And we have people like this in our country who actually are aware of their regional language only. So, if I'm going to buy, like if I'm a proper Marathi mulgi and I'm going to buy a silver jewelry, now how will I, like if I'm scanning this app, so I will get information in English and Hindi. So how will I understand that this particularly hallmark is genuine or not? So we have this particularly app in 12 languages. So we have this particularly BIS mobile care app, which is actually telling you the authenticity of your basically these silver jewelry. It is present in 12 languages, that is 10 regional, and Hindi and English as one of the major language. So 10 regional plus Hindi and English. Now it's your homework is BIS mobile care app mein what are the 10 regional languages which are included? So which are the 10 regional languages which are included in this particularly BIS Care mobile app other than your basically Hindi and English, and it's a free download you can actually download this app in free in Android and iOS version. So this is what actually this HUID for silver jewelry is all about. With BIS is one of the major authority. They implemented this initiative to protect you and me. If you are buying, like it's a consumer protection kind of initiative. If we are buying silver jewelry, we should be very clear that this is a genuine jewelry or it's just a fake jewelry, or there is any kind of a mixture with that, because these golds and these silver, these are also made with some kind of a mixture with different elements. So every particularly authenticity of that product can be learned under your BIS mobile care app, which is present in 12 languages, 10 regional and 2 other languages. Your homework is that which are the 10 regional languages. Now the Indigo Bawal. ठीक है, you must have gone through this particularly news Indigo के बारे में. Lot of people, they are shouting on airports because of this. Lot of other agencies, other aviation industry people, they have raised the particularly prices of their planes. So lot of havoc was there, lot of clumsiness was going in the airport. Some of the relatives might have also stuck in this particularly recent Indigo wala stuff. But it is not only for Indigo. ठीक है, Indigo तो फंस गया. लेकिन the particularly this is not specifically the guidelines. There are specific guidelines which have came into the platform, because of which one of the most suffered airline was your Indigo. So Indigo is not an Indian company. Majority of the people, they think Indigo is because it's Indigo, so it's an Indian company. It's not an Indian company. It's basically a foreigner company. Albert something is name of the CEO of the Indigo company. Headquarter is in Delhi, Gurugram. मतलब India का headquarter is in Delhi, Gurugram. वो not Delhi, it's Delhi NCR. It's part of Haryana, Gurugram, and Gurugram में we also have a International Solar Alliance headquarter as well. So, but it's not an Indian company. So here we will see what are the guidelines, what is the situation which has actually occurred, जिसकी वजह से Indigo has been highlighted. So Indigo Airlines has came under scrutiny after a mass flight cancellation triggered by the implementation of revised flight duty time limitation norms. So this is the particular thing which is important from examination point of view, that what is your flight duty time limitation norms, what is your revised FLDT, यानी कि what is your revised flight duty time limitation, and who is the authority which is responsible for this. This becomes important from examination point of view. So what is a flight duty time limitation norms? Ab you need to understand one thing. Just taking an example of your Indigo only. Lot of employees are present in Indigo, and lot of people, they are actually working overtime. Like if time duration is 8 hours, then they are working 15 hours, and they are not even paid on a regular. Consider Indigo, because thoda sa as compared to the other aviation industry ka, other particularly aeroplanes, this company has a kind of a pocket friendly, not exactly pocket friendly, but as compared to the other flights, isme thoda sa pocket friendly kind of a tickets is there, air ticketing ka system is there. Now what happened? Pilots are flying 7, 8 flights in a day. ठीक है, and because of this exhausting, the pilots become exhausting, crew member become exhausting, they are not effectively working. ठीक है, उसके बाद क्या है, if a pilot is exhausted, तो chances of the air crashes and air basically anything which is related to the airplane might get affected. Plus recent we have saw the example of the crash which has been taken in Ahmedabad. Pilot was the one who was blamed for it, but his father was actually filed a case against that, and Supreme Court officially said that कि भाई your son was not responsible for this crash. So his old father was like yes, only pilots are not responsible for this. Recently obviously one of the example of Tejas crash in Abu Dhabi mein, there was a aeroplane pura showcase was going on between India and basically Middle Saudi Arabia or UAE के साथ this was UAE के साथ में this air show was going on, and we showcase our Tejas, but unfortunately Tejas have क्या बोलते हैं crash there, and pilot have been died because of he was not able to eject him out. Escape system was not that strong, so because of that he died because of that crash, and people have blamed that कि हाँ pilot, fighter jet pilot was responsible for that, उसी ने ढंग से नहीं किया होगा. So because of this scenario, always pilots are one of the easy target to blame on. That's why DCGA decided कि भैया Directorate General of Civil Aviation, they have decided कि pilots are not only responsible for that, companies are also responsible for that. क्यों? Because they are like, if I am paying you this much amount in a particular year, तो भैया I want कि तुम एक दिन में not 2 not 3, I need you to fly 6 to 8 flights in a day, because I am paying you like this. And one of the more reason for this is number of pilots are very less in our country, and the effective pilots and the pilots who are actually Indian are Indian and they are very good in flying, they are actually offered a good number of prize by the foreign aviation companies. So we are not left with good pilots, the number is less, so their workload is more, and because of which they are getting tired, and because of which such kind of disaster, human made disaster related to the airplanes, the chances of getting this becomes high. So disaster, one more thing, recently on the magnitude of 7 earthquake has hit your Japan, so tsunami advisory has been क्या बोलते हैं quoted over there, so that is also important. Earthquake is already very important because whole Himalayan thing has been, seismic zone has been revised. We have added zone 6, we are planning to add zone 6 in the क्या बोलते हैं in the zone of earthquake. So that's why from this year perspective, earthquake and tsunami and cyclone, these 3 disasters, all the particularly technical things, कि what is cyclone, how it is formed, what are the suitable grounds, name of the cyclone, who is doing the name, or who is basically giving name to these cyclones, everything becomes important this year from earthquake. cyclone and tsunami, because a lot of incidents has happened in this year. So we are predicting that in prelims 2026 there are chances that questions will be related to some of these phenomena, plus the recent revision of the seismic zone map also. So that's why this is also the one of the extra current affair which becomes very important from examination point of view. Next, coming back to the topic, so because to avoid such human made disaster, avoid such crashes, we are saying that ki bhaiya DGCA said that we need to update the guidelines, and they have came up with the revised flying guidelines. So what was your flight duty time limitation rules? So according to your DGCA, that is a Directorate General of Civil Aviation, that prescribes how long pilot can remain on duty, how many hours they can fly, what is the number of night particularly landings permitted, and what is the minimum rest they must receive. Everything was mentioned under your flight duty time limitation rules, and these norms were designed ताकि जो pilot है they don't suffer from the fatigue or nausea, this kind of a particularly dizziness, because they are responsible. A good number of 100, 200, 300, 500 people, they are flying in air just in a trust of that ki bhaiya there is a person who is sitting here who will going to very securely and safely will going to take me from one place to another. So that's why this is what the guidelines is basically given by your flight duty, your DCGA, so that the pilots can be less number of error can be done, like to avoid these kind of circumstances of the flight crash and everything. So this is basically the norms which has been given, but now we have revised this. DGCA said that ki bahut ho gaya, now we need to basically revise these. Now what are the new rules which has been given by your DGCA? Number 1, pilots must now get 48 consecutive hours of rest up to 36 hours earlier. So earlier it was just 36 hours which they were getting rest, but now DGCA said that bhai sahab nahi, now we need to basically make sure that they are getting at least 48 consecutive hours of rest. Now pilots can perform only 2 night landings. Earlier it was a 6 night landing, यानी कि एक pilot on an average was doing 6 night landings, and now they are said that only 2 night landings are allowed. वरना 6, अब just imagine अगर 6 से basically night में अगर 6 से it has been reduced to 2, on an average one flight में let's say there are 200 people, let's say hypothetical situation, तो 2 into 4 यानी on an average 800 people are suffering because of this. Average I am saying कि भैया just in hypothetical situation कि 800 people are suffering because of this guidelines which has been given by your DGCA. So the number has been reduced. So this is the thing. Now only 2 night landings, which were earlier 6. Second, no more than 2 continuous night duties are allowed. यानी कि back to back you can only have 2 duties, not 3, not 4, not 5. यानी कि एक बार में let's say I came from Mumbai to Delhi, then Delhi to Mumbai, that's enough. उससे ज़्यादा pilot don't have to basically do their duty, to do their duty. So no more than 2 continuous nights are allowed. Airline must redesign crew rosters as per the new limit, and airline must submit regular fatigue risk report to your DGCA. So these are the new major guidelines which has been given by DGCA related to the flight duty limitation, and this was one of the main reason why whole this scenario has taken place in the system. Tick. Just give me a second. So this was one of the main reason for recently what has happened with your Indigo. Now what is the situation, or what is the status of civil aviation in India? So India is the 3rd largest domestic aviation market after USA and China. So India is the 3rd largest domestic aviation market after US and China, and the another use not related to the aviation industry but related to the freight trains. यानी कि obviously a lot of trade of India is not only done by ships, but the national trade which is going within the country, roads, inland waterway, and plus your train, यानी कि माल गाड़ी, the freight trains are responsible for the trade. And when we compare the international scenario, India and China, these are the 2 particularly countries which have the largest freight train corridors in the world. यानी कि on an average अभी क्या कर सकते हैं, नॉट एग्जैक्टली दैट डेटा, अभी कुछ भी बोलने से अच्छा लेट्स अवॉइड दैट, बट लेट जस्ट यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि द पर्टिकुलरली रेल सिस्टम ऑफ यूएसए एंड चाइना, स्पेसिफिकली द फ्राइट ट्रेन system of USA China is one of the, they are one of the two largest particularly railway network systems. Specifically their trade is going with the particularly freight corridors or with these freight trains. So we are also one of the third largest aviation sector from the domestic purpose, and we are also worldwide one of the two countries, and China and India are one of the two major countries who have a very big network of rail as well, and a good number of freight trade is going on within the country through these routes. And recently when Putin has came into the India, we have also signed an agreement related to what, that we will going to increase the railway connectivity between India and Russia via INSTC, that is International North South Trade Corridor. So we have linked 2 to 3 articles with this. Please make sure you also link these kind of a current affair when you are studying any booklet or revising any current affair. So by 2040 it is said that the passenger traffic is expected to grow 6-fold, around 1.1 billion. यानी कि अभी we are one of the third largest domestic aviation industry after US and China, and we are expecting that by 2040 it might grow to 6-fold, that is on an average 1.1 million. Just imagine how much number of people will going to travel on a daily basis, and as on of 2025, 7.7 million jobs directly and indirectly they are contributing in Indian GDP, which is related to aviation industry, that is your 1.5% of Indian GDP. It's a very good number which you will see. So obviously this is one of the important sector, and recently 7th December has been celebrated as International Civil Aviation Day. 7th December is also celebrated as International Civil Aviation Day. So 2025 aviation support, currently the aviation industry is supporting on an average 1.5% of the Indian GDP, 7.7 million jobs directly, indirectly people are associated with this. The number of operational airports in our country has been increased from 74 to 163. Now, Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik, Udan scheme, Udan and Udan 2.0, now we have Udan 2.0. This is also one of the very impactful initiative which has been taken. I'm so sorry, because of which the number of airports have been increased. Why? Because under Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik, Udan scheme, what Pradhan Mantri said that, what Prime Minister said, that we will going to basically make this aviation sector so easy and so cheap that even a person who is walking in chappal can have, this is the exactly line which has been said by Prime Minister, कि जो इंसान चप्पल में चल रहा है वो भी हवाई जहाज में उड़ सके. So the person who is actually wearing chappal, these kind of a wearing chappal, they can, in short the point is that कि गरीब इंसान भी they can also fly. So this was the target of Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik. So because of which from 74 operational airports, we have shifted to 160 operational airport, and the 100th airport of the country is your Sikkim airport, and we have constructed that airport from two purposes. First, to improve the your tourism, and second is to counter China. Because of the terrain of Himalaya, we can't counter China effectively with army forces. We can counter China with your air force system. That's why a good number of air force battalions have been posted in your Sikkim. Plus, that's why we have also set up our air base in Ladakh. Why? Because of the terrain of this particular the terrain which we have sharing border, like the border of India-China is not a plain border. It's a hilly area, it's a mountainous area, and in such area, human or army cannot work effectively as compared to your air force, or basically the air industry can work in a very effective manner. So that's why we are also establishing air base. So 100th airport was Sikkim airport, one of the airport of the Sikkim, and this is the particularly article which, so now we have 74 to 163 airports, and by 2047, India aims to have 350 to 400 airports in the country. So this is the data which is related to aviation industry of the country. Please make sure you're learning this data, you are remembering this data, because it is very important. So this is the data. First 74, matlab 74 airports were there, then 162, now we have 162 to 165. 2047 tak we have target of 350 to 400. Currently passengers 103 million. Abhi matlab 2014 mein they were 103. 350. We are targeting 1.1 billion annually. यानी कि साल में every year we want to basically fly 1.1 billion people. Now employment 3 million people in 2014, currently 7.7, and in future in 2047 when Viksit Bharat will be celebrated, when India's 100th year will be celebrated, we are targeting that 10 million plus people will get employment from this aviation industry. So this is the data. This is the data of foreign tourism. This is the domestic tourism and this is the foreign tourism. So we are expecting this kind of expenditure which we are expecting. Now let us see what is the Directorate General of India which is responsible for issuing such guidelines. Before that, just give me a water break. So obviously from the guidelines which has been issued by DGCA, you can understand what is this. It is an organization which is actually working for a flying safety. So this is a particularly organization, apex body related to civil aviation industry in India. Internationally, the organization which is working as a particularly coordinator or looking after the rules and regulation related to aviation industries, ICAO, that is International Civil Aviation Organization. So DGCA is a national level organization which is specifically working related to the air traffic, related to the air related problems, air related rules and regulation, yani aviation related rules and regulation, and they are also coordinating with your International Civil Aviation Organization, that is ICAO. So these obviously, okay, DGCA headquarters can be seen in New Delhi and it is apex body which is regulating civil aviation safety in the country. It functions as an attached office of the Ministry of Civil Aviation and is responsible for regulating air transport services, air safety, airworthiness standards in India in coordination with International Civil Aviation Organization. So this is what actually your particularly organization is. What is the role? So let us see in detail what is the role. Ensure air safety, flight operation and airworthiness standard in India. Issues license to pilots, aircraft maintenance, engines, flight engineers and air traffic controllers. Recently we have also discussed one more article. We have came up with a flying aircraft, that is Hans karke there is a name, Hansa or Hansa. Hansa is the name of a new particularly flight which we have launched. Now what is this Hansa flight? Hansa flight kya hoga? Usually when let's say I have done my study in pilot ka, I have studied to become a pilot and I have to go to get my pilot licensing. So earlier there was a 19-seater plane was used to basically as a testing basically plane, but later we said that to fly this 19-seater private plane, it's a costly process. Like for example, I just want to see ki that I am a good pilot or not, what is the capability, so just to provide me license ki wo, as compared to the providing me license, that aviation ka jo whole the flying cost was very heavy. So that's why government has came up with a plan कि अब इतना ज़्यादा खर्च करने की नीड नहीं, there is no need to spend a lot of money just for providing license to fly a 19-seater plane. So we have came up with a 2-seater plane that is known as Hansa, which will be specifically used to provide these kind of a commercial license to the pilot. So once if I want to get a particularly pilot license, then I will fly a plane that is Hansa, which is actually a 2-seater. Earlier it was a 19-seater plane. So this is the difference. That's why we are also cutting some of the cost from this industry. We are spending money on good particularly development in your aviation industry as well. So issues license to pilot, aircraft maintenance, engineers, flight engineers, air traffic controllers. So this is the next role. Regulate schedule and non-scheduled flights for India and foreign basically travels. Then investigate aviation accidents and incident. And why DGCA becomes important? Because in Ahmedabad crash also, this authority was one of the most targeted authority. So all the things related to DGCA, and now the second time it is in news because of the big, I'm not saying chota mota, so they are always in news, but these two are the major incident which make them important from examination point of view. So investigate in the aviation accidents and incident, monitor aircraft noise, engine emission, and updates aircraft rules, civil aviation requirements, and support a new aviation law, which it has done recently. So this is what actually the article is related to DGCA. We'll meet again tomorrow with a lot of articles. Hope so you have understood the articles. Hope so I am making things very easy and clear, to which was actually easy to understand for you guys. We'll again meet tomorrow with some of the new and important articles which are important from current affairs. That's all for today. Have a very nice day. We'll meet again tomorrow.